This is Dropping Hints.
I'm Alex.
I'm Silas.
In this podcast, you'll catch a glimpse of our everyday conversations. At what age did you become a conscious, sentient, living being?
Is that different than the age of innocence?
Answer my question.
I'd say I was around the age of maybe, 14, 16, I'd say.
Is that the same age that you started to use this fake Australian accent?
As long as it's good, it sounds a little bit calming in my ears. I've got both headphones in and the volume is very high. So
Wow, we got a podcaster who loves the sound of his own voice.
we are coming to you live.
Let me see everybody's eyes.
Let me see everybody's eyes for a second. You see, sometimes church can become very routine. When did I become sentient? See, now I'm back to my voice, and
so
it's gross.
Here's the deal.
Yeah.
Let me just stop you there.
Let's lay the groundwork for
Let me
this.
stop you there and share this point that I heard. We were talking the other day, and we realized that for much of our early life, well, how do you just put this? We didn't catch everything. A lot of things went over our heads. A lot of things we didn't really understand.
There was a lack of self-awareness, I think.
How we have our own thoughts and words, and we can say them, and
Wow.
and our cat can do the same thing, until much later. So give the people what they want.
Yeah. So
Examples.
we have this term I say all the time. I say, like, and I see videos or pictures of me when I was younger. I would literally just look at them and say, was I even sentient? Like, was I even a sentient being that had, like, will and thoughts? And, like, was I
Just a robot.
Yeah, I literally look like I'm behaving like an NPC. Like, so.
And the reason why that is your perspective is everyone would always ask, both you and myself, they would ask us, are you okay?
Are you okay? Are you okay?
Just because we didn't talk.
It's like, yeah, mate.
Because
I'm just not talking.
We were quiet,
yeah,
and reserved, and possibly
polite.
Planning a serial murder.
Well, I mean, statistically,
it's the quiet ones. Yeah, so they would always see that we don't talk. We are very quiet and reserved, well-behaved.
Well-behaved, yeah.
And they would equate that with, this person is not conscious.
This person is not normal.
This person is not sentient.
I mean, I can't say for certain that people would feel that way, but I know for certain.
I mean,
I definitely, like, felt that way. Are you looking at the definition of sentience?
Yes.
Yeah. What is sentience? Gradually, as we grew older, were able to attain sentience through careful thought.
Oh, you're going to love this. The definition of sentient is to be able to perceive or feel things.
Shall I read that? Sentient. Able to perceive or feel things. She had become instructed from birth in the equality of all sentient life forms.
You need to stop doing that, or else we're going to be lumped in with the ASMR podcasts and not about that.
A super rememberable, a super manly, remarkable podcast. ASMR podcast. A super manly, remarkable podcast.
Wow, if that is the
I mean,
antithesis of what we're doing here.
So we talk about sentience. When we say that, I just mean, like, strictly, like, that's like I I didn't talk to
Give an
anybody.
example.
I would. So we would be at fencing class, right? This is mainly where I tend to think of it. When we were fencing, that would be like 20. The time frame that I'm mainly thinking is like 2010 to 2015. We would be, because before that, I mean, who can say what was even going? I don't remember that far back now. So we would be like at fencing practice, and like I wouldn't talk, I wouldn't say anything. I would just be completely in my mind, and I'm like, people didn't even like know what was in my head. I didn't even like they had their perceptions of me, and they had no idea like if I was like funny, if I was like weird, if I was cool, what I was. And I was like, I look back and I'm like, I wish I could have just like, if I could go back, like, and behave differently, behave like a sentient being that like laughs at jokes, tells jokes, is generally like interesting to be nearby or around, any of those things.
So do you think that you would go back in time and be a plucky middle schooler? Is that what you're telling me?
I would be a plucky middle schooler for the memes. I would be like, guys,
I don't think memes existed.
No, memes have always existed. They just weren't like, cheems and whatever memes we have now.
Yeah.
They were like,
They were more sophisticated and
well,
refined.
it was like, I can have
So the
cheeseburger.
de-evolution
and then
of
you really
memes.
yeah.
We should talk about that sometime.
The de-evolution of memes from millennial to Gen Z, where Gen Z is just like Juan, the horse.
Yeah.
And that's stale. That's really old.
Oh.
That's really old.
It's
Juan.
rank.
Juan is old. What comes to mind for you with were you sentient? When did you achieve at what
sentience?
point did you achieve sentience as a species?
Yeah, I don't know. Basically, the way that I perceive it is there was a time when I was not very outgoing, not very confident, comfortable in my own skin, so to speak. And so I was just quiet and reserved and never had anything to say, never had any input to give. And then gradually, slowly, eventually, the process of becoming more outgoing and more confident and just more comfortable with my social skills, I started to branch out. And now I'm starting to like cut those branches.
Branch back in, yeah.
Cut the branches that branched out. Now I'm starting to cut them because...
The thing about this is after you taste sentience, you can never go back. After you have tasted what it's like to be a sentient
make it sound
creature.
like it's like a drug or something.
Sentience is a drug. There's the title of the episode. Don't even need to. No holds barred. No two ifs, ands, or buts about it.
No, it can't be the title.
Why not? We're not talking about this. Where was I going with that? Once you taste sentience, you can never go back.
Mm-hmm.
And then, we're talking about pruning the branches, as it were. And I said, like, there's a time in everybody's life, I think, where they are not sentient, let's say. They are not, outgoing and branching out. And then they realize that they can, and they do, and then they never stop. And then they get a little carried away, and they have a little too much of like a, maybe a little bit too much of like a popular kid phase, where they feel like they're just the stuff.
I think that Instagram is the vehicle which allows many kids and youth to become,
I always say Instagram
in a way sentient, but it's through technology, so it's
like
not technically
it's a false sort
what
of
we're talking about. Yeah,
it's a false counterfeit sort of sentient being.
Like I think about when you started doing a lot of Insta stories, and you started becoming like a small time comedian,
an Insta celebrity. For among my friends, they know me as the Insta story guy. But
friends,
yeah,
sure,
yeah. I mean, I always say Instagram is about instant gratification.
Mm.
We live in a society that worships instant gratification, which is instant gratification on Instagram. Instant gratification. I I saw a meme that was like, it was, I don't know, somebody did like a talk or like a some kind of a presentation, some famous person, about like how it's okay to just like live in the moment and not like put your thoughts and feelings out there about everything. Like some people are like a little too much like, oh, like like, this is my thoughts on this, let me tweet that. This is my thoughts on this, let me post that. This is my thoughts on that. And this person apparently did some kind of a talk that was like maybe talking like, don't do that as much. Like, it's okay to just like be in the moment and experience your thing and then leave it. And somebody did a meme where they were somebody that watched that, and he was like, wow, guys, I gotta say, like, I really love the talk that this guy did about like just living in the moment and not like, sometimes it's okay to just not put your thoughts out there and like, keep them to yourself and just really be in the moment there. So anyways, I'm gonna post that on Twitter right now. So they're like, it's like that was a tweet that they were posting.
The irony of
it's like, okay, this is just ridiculous.
Yeah. So it's all about finding a balance, is what you're telling me.
It's all about finding that balance. If guaranteed, this is what proves that people at those companies are still, some of them, not sentient. If you say that at any point in one of those focus group meetings, you'll get people to agree with you.
Yeah.
It's about finding that balance.
Yep.
Or what about the responses like that you get in Bible study sometimes? It's just about like walking in the Spirit, man. Or in a small group. It's just about like thinking harder about the gospel.
Thinking harder about the gospel.
Just like man, we just gotta like really, we just gotta like man, we just gotta like we just gotta like do that Jesus thing.
Yeah, basically, you just need to realize that you're a real person and you interact with other real people, and so you gotta act like a real person.
Everybody's going somewhere. Everybody's doing something.
Yeah.
There's that one song. All those people going somewhere. Yeah. Why have I never cared?
Yeah, I hate that song.
Every fiber.
Give me
your eyes for just.
I knew it.
Let me see your eyes for just 1 second. If you don't know, that's Steve Mayo from our church. Let me see everybody's eyes for a second. Give me your eyes for just 1 second.
I thought you were just going to save that joke
so
for the insiders only.
Nope.
Which is just you and me.
The people, maybe they just needed a refresher about what Steve Mayo says when he teaches. Anyways, you got to realize that you are living.
You want to see the irony
tissue.
of this? All right. We're talking about being sentient beings and being conscious. We're doing a podcast right now in my room.
Mm-hmm.
And do you see the irony in this? That
not really.
You're talking about being sentient, and you're talking to myself and to a camera.
I'm talking to you. And I'm talking to you, who I am imagining looking at right now, who's not here. I'm talking to you.
But we don't see any of those people.
Do you see God? Think on that. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen.
Okay, so you see the evidence.
We have no need for gods. We find the one quite adequate. That's from Star Trek. Yeah. I see what you're saying, but it's like, when I say I wasn't sentient, I don't just mean like, oh, like, I was too absorbed in like, technology, or I was too absorbed in playing freaking Skyrim or Dark Souls. While I was very absorbed in those things, I'm not saying I was like that was the only problem. I just mean like literally, like I would like think things and I wouldn't ever like say them. I wouldn't talk to people. It's like I didn't talk to anybody that I didn't know. And it's like, even the people that I did know, what did I say to them? I don't
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I had many friends. People liked me.
And
I did not have friends, but like I didn't like.
And it was just because, well, for me, it was just because I did not feel like giving my opinion. I didn't think that it was important for me to give my opinion on something, or my input to, as to what I thought about something, my perspective on something. I didn't think that it would add value to the topic at hand or the conversation. Now, that's not to say that I never talked, because if I spoke to someone individually,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's always a very different scenario.
and I think that you as well would parallel that.
Parallel.
But it was those.
I'm gonna just to piggyback.
So
real
basically,
quick,
you're telling me that,
just to piggyback off
yeah.
of what you said. That's another.
So basically, we took 15 minutes just to tell everyone that we're introverts.
I hate that word so much. Every time I hear that, I want to just take a machete and hack something up. Not a sentient thing, but maybe an unsentient thing.
Do plants count as sentient things?
No.
All right. All right. Well, let me use a word that you...
Introvert and extrovert are just so contrived to me.
Let me just use a word that Silas appreciates. So we took this time to just discuss how we are more inclined to have conversations with individual people and not be at the center of attention. I am trying to define introvertedness without saying it. How would you define it?
I don't know. There's so much baggage that comes along with when you say that word, introvert. It's like you get an immediate mental image of what that means, which I don't.
I get a mental image, but it's not a negative one.
It doesn't have to be a negative one. I just get like an immediate.
So if I say blue,
blue is exclusively one thing. Blue is blue. Introvert is exclusively one thing.
There's a million different shades of blue.
Yeah, but you just said blue. You didn't say seafoam. You didn't say navy. You didn't say sky. You didn't say baby. What's the point? I don't know. We just wanted to talk about this. There was just,
this is one of those conversations that we had, and we're like, let's just continue the conversation on the cast.
On the cast, look, just realize that you have in your life the power and you can do anything you put your mind to, and that is a promise from God. Channeling my inner Joel Osteen there.
Yeah, let's unchannel that.
Let's unchannel that, because that is straight nothing good there. His ads keep appearing on Instagram. I see his ads for his book.
Well, don't click on them.
I don't click on them. I scroll and they're there, and I'm like, I don't want you. Like, and he's like, hey, working on this book, Finding Inner Peace. Pick up the book. Pick up, man. You just, we just gotta, really about being peaceful, man. So pick up a copy of the book. And I'm like, what? Are you sentient? Are you an NPC? Am I looking at an NPC?
So the moral is, don't be an NPC.
Don't be an NPC.
That's non-player character for our
there's nothing, non-player
ungamed friends.
It's a video game term. It means non-player character, and they have a strict set of dialogue. They cannot deviate from that dialogue, and they have a strict place where they reside, and they cannot move from that location. They are not thinking creatures. They are.
So don't be like them, but think for yourself.
Yes.
Think for yourself.